Have you ever heard the nose ring theory?
No.
Okay. Give me a second. Let me find it. You know this chick?
No.
This is the Dadvocate. She's one of those kind of men's right activists that you find on TikTok and YouTube who shows these really scandalous women talking about how they're perfectly normal and nobody loves them and everybody's damaged except them. These folks, right?
Right.
So there's something called the nose ring or the face piercing theory, where apparently, at least anecdotal evidence from like the entire internet has decided that people with face tackle are high maintenance, high risk individuals.
Okay.
And she has never encountered this before until like recently. And she did a video kind of explaining the whole thing and demonstrating exactly what it means.
Okay.
Right?
This has my attention. Now, what's your you don't have any face tackle, did you ever?
No.
Okay. Aside from I'd still have both my earlobes pierced. I had my cartilage pierced and I had a tongue ring.
All right. So I would pierce my ears if I was doing a costume and the costume involved a pierced ear. I would pierce my ear. I didn't have any issues with that. That was.
And my knee-jerk reaction to hearing this theory is that it's if I apply it anecdotally, it's got to be spot on accurate because at surface level, I don't have a lot of face tackle, just a little bit, right? There's a little bit of a high maintenance edge, but a tongue ring, probably a little more dangerous below the surface or high maintenance or chaotic than.
Right. All right. So watch this. You're going to understand it almost immediately. The second you lay eyes on this chick.
That I think you're going to find interesting. Nose ring theory. And I just know that when I say that, half of you are going to be confused and the other half of you somehow know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never heard of it before. I will explain everything I've learned about this theory, show you some examples, and then give you my 2 cents on this whole thing. So to take you on the journey that I went down to get here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old and I've been trying my hand at dating men.
All right. Can we all see this young lady?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. The one on the left here, I assume it's on the left for everyone. Dark one, the goth mommy over here. All right. How many red flags do you see right off the fucking rip?
3, but all 3 of them kind of come down to the same one, right? It's the aesthetic, the intentional aesthetic.
Right. Right.
But the black on black, the nose ring, that eyeliner.
Right. Okay. Notice that she has extremely light eyebrows as if they've been removed or shaven.
Okay, I had not noticed that, but now I see what you're talking about.
Right. Also, she's filming in her car, so none of this is good.
Specifically for probably about 5-6 years now in a serious
that little thumb glove
moment.
Right. And also she has the inverted fang piercings in her lips. If anybody ever tells you that they have a piercing in their mouth for anything other than sucking dick, they are lying to you.
That is not true.
Give me one reason why okay, all right.
Eating pussy.
But that is merely a modified penis according to the trend.
No, it's not. It's an entirely different structure.
My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. Really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what like the root of all these issues is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are
Flag on
really
that play.
realized to
Right?
I just wanted to throw a flag right there. Like we need some sort of a symbol so
Yeah,
that they can keep rolling. But you know when there's a flag.
Yeah. All right. So the specific flag is that she has quick rostered through half a dozen men, came with the same exact problem with every single one of them, and decided that they are all faulty.
And yeah, specifically the phrase "I'm not responsible for any of them." It's like that's a lot of red flags right there.
That's just a lack of willingness to accept one's own responsibility, period.
to know what it means to truly love someone, like love their partner and care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life. I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me. And every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay?
You reckon that checks out?
I reckon that... No, I don't reckon that checks out. I reckon they said something similar to that. I reckon that what they actually said got expanded in her mind bigger than what I think that she heard, bigger than what was said. And then I think that she thought, yeah, that
You're
expectation.
the rule of three.
Huh?
The rule of three. Anything that's negative is 3 times worse than anything that's positive is reduced by 3.
Okay, yes. Wait, no, it'd be the other way around. She heard something good and she multiplied it by 3. Right? He says, I like you. She hears, I'll take a bullet for you.
Oh, wow. Okay, I can see that. I didn't think about it that way. But they all treated her horribly.
Well, after they promised already. Her expectations were raised because of her own interpretation, right? And then they were dropped because of she's dating an imaginary figure, not a person.
She's dating an imaginary figure. Yes, exactly. Just like, the man-loving lesbian and the Easter Bunny.
But when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I started calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Like point blank period. Otherwise you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them. They just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. That is.
She's borderline.
Borderline what?
Personality disorder.
I don't even know if it's borderline, bro. She legitimately thinks she can read people's minds. She knows what they're thinking.
Yeah. And then she covert contracts them, so everything they do is run through the filter of, right? Because they're an imaginary figure, and they're supposed to know what she's thinking. Because this woman has borderline. This is a personality disorder. Right?
Deep issues here. And it makes me wonder if there's a daddy in the house. You know what I'm saying? Where's
I'm
daddy?
notarizing this diagnosis.
I don't have $20 for you, bro.
It's all right. This one's on the house. We're doing our community service today.
All right.
Love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them.
All right. Where's the problem with that phrase? It's
unintentionally.
You do not do things to intentionally or unintentionally. How can you unintentionally do something you meant to do? You can't. The only way you can unintentionally do some shit is not meaning to.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying you can't hurt me even unintentionally because you love me. Therefore, you don't love me, meaning your words mean nothing and her imagination rules the world.
Well, she's assigning something that she already defined as. She's assigning intention where she defined it also as unintentional or intentional, right? So it can't be both. You don't get to have it both ways.
Yeah, that covers everything and allows her to be right regardless of what she says next.
Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them because that has to be awful, but like I can't handle it anymore, dude.
So in this video, this girl is describing her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason in the end, they always end up treating her horribly. And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are to figure out why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships are always driven to turmoil, people began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other say, the piercing theory is so true, with over 700 likes. And again, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory with over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her. So then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well? So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the...
All right, so here's the big mystery as far as this. Is this a situation where this individual with a bunch of face tackle has decided to purport her trauma as being her only aspect of personality and completely identified within it? Or is she a well-adjusted individual who's just, you know, a little off track with men at the moment?
You're talking about the one we just checked out.
The one we just checked out.
Yeah, she's got a personality disorder.
Okay, let's go deeper.
Okay, let's go deeper.
Yeah.
I don't have the clip ready, but just think about it.
Top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory? If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to look it up, but I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So this is common knowledge. It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass, because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
And she agrees?
Look, all right, so
it's dead ass.
this chick
Was that her noise? Was that her noise? Was that her laughing?
Yes, so much Botox she can't even move her face to laugh.
Like I said, dead ass.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know, because you get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's got to be something there. And this is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was making her relationship trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a...
So no dad in the home. How about that?
Her trauma's her entire personality.
Does she have anything else? Let's see.
secret that's been kept from me, okay? I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the charts.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis. Not like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma.
Prayers for this
But I
girl.
mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's got to be something normal here.
Not to be a man-hater or anything. Actually, no, fully to be a man-hater. Fully to be a man-hater.
Oh, okay. I
What's
guess
wrong with
she
her
also
eyeshadow?
like men.
Yeah, you want to see that again, don't you? I'm telling you, she shaves her eyebrows. and then draws whatever eye she wants on.
That's me. I'm the one glitching out.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm back.
Congratulations.
Fully to be a man hater.
Oh, okay. I guess she also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poorly. I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find...
All right, so here's the part we're fixing to get scientific, because Home Chick went and got some receipts, and they're all lined up in a row. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I just like having known about this for about 10 minutes, I think it's got to be the most accurate theory I've heard of in a long time.
Right?
Quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos scored significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially. This study that I found in Psychology Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect. And this one...
All right, so we can sit here and go through these for like the next 5-10 minutes.
I'm here for it.
There? You want all of it?
I'm here for it. Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that individuals with piercing...
Take your lap, Bo. Just go ahead and gloat.
Thank you for the W. I'd like to thank Katie, Sasquatch, the audience, Jenica for piercing my ears every time they'd close up, and all you crazy borderline personality disordered bitches. Thank you.
Nice.
Piercings and tattoos are all degenerate problem children undeserving of love. I myself have a belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does
sounds like a cope.
Could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen?
Well, to say that, like, I have a tattoo, and it took me 40 years to get around to getting it. So, like, it's a hashtag not all situation. But then again, also, people who modify their bodies in ways that are visible are different from people who modify their bodies in ways you can't see.
And 40 years hardly sounds like an impulsive decision.
I mean,
I was 18.
It wasn't an impulsive decision. I mean,
mine was impulsive.
I existed on the fringes of tattoo culture through most of until I was 30. You know, I just never got a tattoo because I figured if I wanted one when I was 40, I'd go ahead and get it, and I did.
You know, the probably the biggest prohibitive factor about tattoos for me has been that anything that I've wanted after I got my first one all was big enough to require more than one session. And that sounds like bullshit. I want satisfaction right now, not in 3 weeks.
Facts.
But to have a nose ring. My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way. In the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing her issues with relationships with
She's
men,
my favorite.
we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead to all of this correlation. In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships with men, but certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
All right. So you get the idea. Hashtag not all, but in my experience, and I'll admit this is merely anecdotal, although I do like my women on the trashy side. So I might have had a bit more anecdotal experience.
Would you move on from Waffle House to Burger King or something?
Yes. Actually, she's moved on to a Dollar General now.
You should go stand outside the DCF office and wait for all the food stamp chicks to walk out.
But anyway, what I'm getting at is there's a difference between people who get visible body modifications versus non-visible body modification. Correct. If they're taking the effort to keep the markings behind below the sleeves, below the collar, above, they're concerned about their outward appearance whenever they feel like they should be concerned. It's just that it might not be for you.
Right. No, I agree.
Whereas people who have very public face things, hand tattoos, face tattoos, the hit and miss on the skull tattoo thing, because it kind of depends on, are we talking Bam Bam Bigelow or a giant swastika?
If you've got a skull tattoo, you were a skinhead, so you're in a gang. And it's
probably, almost certainly. I don't know, but 2 people with skull tattoos, and at least one of them was acquired in prison. So yes. Right. But yeah, if you've got a visible forward fronting tattoo that you cannot hide, people are going to view you as more risk taking, and encountering you as a quote unquote normie and interacting with you is us being risk taking ourselves.
Say that again.
Normies are adverse to risk. Right. People who have public body modifications, like things that are visible, are more risk mitigating. They are willing to take more risks, just culturally, just in general, right? Mm-hmm. So a person who does not take those risks, interacting with a person who does, automatically makes that situation a risky-er situation for the normie.
I got you. So it'll be interesting that some of you probably remember this short, but what tattoo artists say about people with face tattoos. Where's my audio?
Stop being an amateur immediately.
Can't do it. Why can't I see the fucking audio button here?
You gotta scroll it up. Are you actually on the StreamYard thing?
Hold on, I got it. Maybe I don't got it.
Most women are hoes.
Now I'm going to ask you a question.
I don't have a person. No, I lost it.
So now
there it is. Come back here, bitch. So the last time.
So now I'm going to ask you.
So the last. Hold on, we'll get there eventually.
My dad.
What do you do? So the last time I got raided, I had.
So now I'm going to ask you.
That's crazy. So the last time I got.
So now.
I don't have a personality. Man, make this shit small county, and my officer was a woman. A lot of times there was. This is I hate the shorts feed on desktop.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get there.
I had the same problem.
Not funny. Stop laughing. You can laugh.
Which one's it on? The powdered
So now I'm
dusty
going
or
to ask you a
Most women
question.
are hoes.
Now I'm
This is
going to
wild.
ask you a question. Just because you're fucking doesn't mean that you're a hoe. Now I'm going to
Wild.
ask you.
So the last.
So now I'm going to ask.
That's it. I wanted to stop
So
on
now
this
I'm
one.
going to ask you
What
a
the
question.
Women are hoes.
Now,
So the last time I got.
so now I'm going
Holy
to
shit.
ask you a
Most
question.
women are hoes.
Now I'm going.
I don't have This a is personality nuts. conflict with Tarek. I just have he owes me money conflict.
Okay, it's on flow state.
I do agree, flow state. I do
Yeah,
owe
it's
you
on
money.
flow state.
So now I'm going to ask you.
I don't have Why a won't it personality stop on it? conflict.
So now I'm going
Oh
to
my God.
ask you a
Most
question.
women are hoes.
Now I'm going to ask.
Here, I'll get the link for you. That's crazy. Amazing. It's a little ways
So
back.
good though. It's so good.
You know which one it is, right? It's the speakeasy one.
All right, let's see. We got
Well, what's so good? My frustration or the
yeah. That it was a combination of your frustration and the fact that it just would not do the thing that should be so easy for it to do. And I've been in exactly the same situation, screaming exactly the same thing you're
Lauren put it in
screaming.
the front chat.
Well, do you have a name on it?
Here.
Well, I mean, it's like I got it up. I just ain't that the chick? No, that ain't the chick.
That's the wrong screen.
Yeah, none of
All
that.
bad.
It's all bad, dude. Anything resembling a name?
All right, pull it up. Yeah. Here, give me the stage.
I'm trying.
On their cheek, the SoundCloud rapper tattoo.
It's a heart with an.
The people that come in for the face tattoos, they're a little out there.
Why did you feel that it was smart to get tattoos on your face?
That's what ratchet people do, baby.
If you're an 18-year-old and you think you're a hip hop star, don't do it. Don't. It ain't worth it.
That goddamn splotch on the side of your left eye. What is that?
It's like a little thing on their cheek. The SoundCloud rapper tattoo.
It's a heart with an XO.
Little hearts, little butterflies, moons. I think they're cute.
The tattoo on my face is for someone who passed away. That's what a heart on your face means.
It's not always like this, but 9 times out of 10, the people that have face tattoos, they tend to be like, look at me. They're very egotistical, or they're very like self-centered, and they want that attention.
They usually don't spend over $50 for a face tattoo. I'm saying this about rappers.
Don't like it. Don't look at me.
I'm more impressed by a butthole tattoo.
That's where it's at. The people that come in for the face tattoos,
They're dangerous.
So you got all sorts of tattoo artists agreeing with I guess what could be considered a derivative of the face tackle theory is the face tattoo theory.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not just face tattoos, though. Take a look at the people you've known in your life that have knuckle tattoos. Love and hate. Are these people risk?
It's always that one. Yeah. And the people, if they've got the knuckle tattoo here and here.
Oh, I'm all right. So I know one dude who had the love, the hate, and then how did he have it done? I can't remember. I think he had the W on the pad of his thumb.
Oh, come on.
White.
That's wild.
Dude, I'm telling you, I ran into this dude. I was working with a machine shop at the time, and homie gets hired out of the fresh out of prison program.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in. I am not even joking. Within 45 minutes, he had pulled out his cell phone, checked how much copper cost, found out that roll of copper over there was worth a couple of grand, and went and grabbed a random tool truck, backed it over, threw it up on the back of it with the forklift, and just drove off to the scrapyard, which was less than a block away. It was on the back side of the same block I was working on. And he went and turned that roll in, gave it to the scrapyard. The cops picked him up, took him back to jail. I cannot help but think he wanted to be in jail.
You said he stole a random truck to steal the copper?
Well, he technically he worked at the location, so it wasn't technically stealing, and the property is abutted to the scrapyard. So he didn't
even leave the job site.
No, he never kinda. That's what I'm saying, dude. We watched him. We watched him drive it to the thing and get on the scale and weigh it, and then come back off and weigh the truck again, and then go in and try to get paid. By the time he got inside, the cops were already over there.
There was this dude, oh God, the guy that lived below Jared, or lived with Jared for a while. She's not paying attention to me. Anyways, this dude, so he had the Charlie Manson forehead tattoo, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, he had one of them. He also wore a cut, right? And I was talking to this dude, right, because he's really scary looking and shit, and we start talking, and he's giving me his life story. But it's the Sons of Anarchy. He's telling me the fucking plot of the Sons of Anarchy. And I pretended like I just pretended like I didn't, like I'd never seen it. Like, wow, you used to traffic guns? I
got a buddy of mine who has a K bigger than 2 hands branded on his arm. And homie did it himself with a pair of pliers and a freaking coat hanger.
I wish I had taken a picture of this. A girl I went to rehab with. Now this is already a red flag situation. But she was very pretty, normal looking white girl. Nothing stood out about her. She had just gotten out of prison when she was in rehab, but she didn't even look rough, right? Like she just looked like she could be any yuppie girl. I saw her about 6 months after we got out of rehab. And she had tattooed across her throat the word gangster. The R was a pistol. It was fucking terrible.
All right. No, I've got to. Okay, so this is semi-really. This is a brother and sister thing that happened. These people moved here from elsewhere when they were. And this is what I don't understand. When they were like 8 and 9, they moved here from New York or Miami or some major metro area, right? They assimilate perfectly normal people all the way up until they get to like freshman, sophomore in high school. All of a sudden, both of them immediately wolf out. One goes completely deep black hood territory, like he crawled off into the barrel and never looked up. 2 months later, homie's got gangster on his neck. He's got teardrops under his eyes, like the whole nine. His sister went a diametrically opposite direction. She starts running with a bunch of skinheads, starts getting those tattoos on her. And I'm over here going, I'm riding through the hood one day with a buddy.
They're white, though.
They're both white as the driven snow, bro. They're whiter than me. They're like some Slim Shady clones. Anyway, so I'm like riding with a buddy of mine going to drop him off after work. And I go riding through, and there's homie walking down the road with like 5 or 6 black guys, and he's out there in his bitch slapper walking along with his tattoos all out and shit. And I come walking through, and he's like, man, oh man. I was like, what? He's like, you ain't got no idea what that white boy had to do to get those black guys respect. You got no clue. That is the most dangerous man in this hood. Do not mess with him. I thought he was joking, right? I was like, that's funny. He never cracked a smile. He just turned and looked at me and went, do you know him? I was like, yeah, dude, I grew up with him. Like, we've known each other for years. I'm riding by, homie waves at me. What's up, Sasquatch? I'm like, what's up, bro? Yeah, right by. Everybody gave me that weird look.